Hello everyone, this is Nehemiah Rudrabanet. I'm studying Media Studies Journalism at the University of Liberal Arts, and today I'm going to review a film. The film is called Sicily and it is directed by Jonathan Roy Chynal. And to begin, I'd like to talk about the significance of the film. To me, the significance of the film seems to be the director tried to communicate that you can make a typical Bollywood film with just a mobile. And also what he tried to communicate is that you can make a film anywhere with the smallest amount of crew in the shortest amount of time with just a mobile phone. Also to me, it seems that he tried to encourage other professional Bollywood directors to come forward and make films with mobile, because in contrast to Hollywood or Western countries, it seems that there hasn't been a lot of professional mobile films made in India. So he tried to push the issue so that other directors may come forward and take a step. Moving on to the genre of the film, I would say the film is a short romantic film and the duration is 40 minutes long. Now moving on to the director's philosophy and what's his perspective while making the movie. You know what, recently I've seen one of his interviews where he said that for an actor to understand the script better, to interpret the script better, our actor or artist need to write his or her own script, because when they write their own script, it gives them idea of what goes into a script, the bits and bytes of the script. Thus, whenever they write their own script, they will be able to interpret a script better if it's written by others, because they know what goes into the script. And since when they will be able to interpret a script better, then it will help them to get into the character more. Thus it will benefit the whole production. This is his mentality, and this is why he wrote the script and also had the idea of making his own film. And also we know that most of the actors have this wish of theirs, making their own film, since he had a script of his own and he tried to make a film. Also he tried to communicate different ideas. He's from theater, and we know that people who have theatrical experience, they tend to use their body more. They use their body as if as an extension of their emotion, and this is what he did in the movie. We have seen his movement, he bringing raw vibe to the film. He used his body as an extension of his emotions, and to incorporate all these ideologies of him, he made a movie. Moving on to the story of the film, it's the story is pretty simple one. It's a story about a guy who falls in love with a girl in online. I'm pretty sure that we have all been there. Anyway, so the guy decides to meet the girl in Spain at a festival, and so he goes there, but it turns out that the girl isn't there and she's not coming. So he's always checking his phone, and in a wait of when the girl is going to arrive, always checks her phone. And finally he gets the impression that the girl is not going to come. So he stays there for a few days and moves to Rome, Italy. Well, the girl and the guy were supposed to be visiting there together as the girl promised her. But since the girl is not there, he goes to Rome all by himself to, keep up the promises that he made himself. And while he is in Spain, Rome, he finds out that the girl died. The girl was actually on her way to meet the guy at the festival, but the girl, Mira, died in the car crash. And this really breaks him apart. He hallucinates about the girl and starts seeing the girl everywhere. And this is basically the short form of the story. This is how the story goes on. Moving to the ideology part of the film, what the director tried to communicate, I think if you look at the film, he tried to communicate that at the end of the day we are all alone. It really doesn't matter in around how many people I am. We are basically alone, and all we have is ourselves. We come to the world as, alone, and we live it by ourselves. This is what he tried to communicate, because the way some shots are taken, the way the character and the surroundings are presented in the film, this is what I got from the film. And also he tried to communicate about love. He tried to say that love is a powerful element that transcends time, death, everything itself. That when you love someone, you're gonna love someone regardless whether they're alive with you or not with you. And this is the power of love. And also we have seen at the end of the film, the girl is saying that he will always love the guy, she will be always with him. So he somehow tried to incorporate this loneliness, this truth, and that love is beyond everything. These are the things he tried to incorporate in his film, and which he did brilliantly. Moving on to the most exciting part, which is me basically analyzing the film, scrutinizing the film production, cinematography, and what messages I got. And whatever I'm about to say, all these are my opinions, so I could be wrong too. Anyways, as I said, when you watch the movie, or when I watched the movie, I noticed that he tried to communicate we are all alone, and he did that in a great way. In almost in every shot, the guy is with or around a lot of people, such as when he's at the restaurant, he's having a drink, and there are all these people beside him, around him. However, he's the only character that is facing towards the camera, and all the other characters are facing different ways. You can see the back of their heads but not their faces. So it kind of gives the impression that even though that he's around a lot of people, but those people in the background are actually not there. It's only the guy, the character protagonist, and us. And the same thing happens when he's at the beach, all these people, but he walks and all the people walks around him, but the shots are taken in such way that you'd feel like that there's no other character in the film. Also the same thing happened while he's in the cruise ship going to Rome. He's around all these people, but the way the shots are taken and presented, you'd feel like that there's no one else in the production. So and they did in a great way. Also, we can see in the film that he's walking in steep, narrow alleyways, which to me represents that, how do I say it, that life is, to some people, life is all about going round and round in alleyways. Not necessarily that a person always has to have a destination, and that is how some people actually live, from one alleyway to another alleyway with no particular destination or aim. And he tried to communicate that. Also, another interesting thing that I got from the cinematography or the film itself is that the color palette. Although they've used blue, green, very pink, yellow, very vibrant colors, but what is interesting about them, the way those color palettes, those colors were represented in the film. In the film, we can see a lot of blue sky, the roaring ocean, and the beautiful pink sunset. But what's really alarming about them is that even though the scenarios and shots are beautiful itself, or they should be beautiful, right? It's the sky. It's this clear sky, it's the ocean, it's the sunset. They should be beautiful and they should communicate happiness, but it did not, because the way the shots were seen. In all those shots where there were blue colors, but those blue weren't vibrant blues or full of blue. Those blue colors were somewhat of desaturated. undersaturated blue color. So every time I saw blue on the screen, those blue colors, those skies, the ocean, the sunsets didn't actually communicate happiness to me. Rather than it gave me a sad and depressing vibe. And I think this is what actually the director tried to communicate it, because it was giving us the impression that something bad is going to happen, and which eventually happened. We saw that the girl died. And also this is very interesting when we are shown presented with the fact that the girl is dead, when the guy finds out the girl is dead. What is interesting is that from that point of the film, from that point of the screen, we do not see any more sad or depressing shots or tone. Rather than from that point, all the shots that are shown, they are vibrant, full of colors. They somehow communicate happiness, although that shouldn't, because the girl is dead. And this is an interesting catch about the film that I've noticed. Maybe because when the girl died, and the guy was hallucinating about her, and in his mind that they were together, so the set were placed as if happiness was all around. And this is what the directors did. This is what I found in the film. Also, there were some long shots taken in the film, full of long shots, wide shots. Also, I gotta talk about the movement of the actor itself, actor, director. Well, he's everything, producer. Chandan, as he has experience from theaters, in most of the scenarios or acts, he used his body extremely well, especially when he was drunk into the cathedral, and also when he was walking in the alleyways drunk. He used his movements to his aid and in a profound way to communicate with the audience, and it was very much visible in the film. So that was me analyzing the film. Now moving on to suggestions, would I suggest the film to others? I'd say, to me, the film was kind of okayish, not very good, not very bad. But when you count the fact that the film has been made on just iPhone, with just one phone, I think the movie deserves some credit, because we are so used to see movies with all these big budgets and production. So from that point of view, I treated this film as like any other film. So if I treat it as any other films, obviously it doesn't it doesn't look good compared to other films. But when you take into the count that the film is made on iPhone or just a mobile phone, I think the film turned out to be a pretty good film. So also, it's a short film, only 40 minutes long in duration. So I'd suggest that anyone who has the time, or wants to watch a short film, or has let's say 50 minutes, 50 to hour minute time in their hand, they can watch the film. Now coming to the part where if I've seen something similar to the film or relevant to the film itself, right now nothing comes to my mind that is sort of similar to the film itself. So I cannot tell you people. But if I had to rate the film, I'd say I'd rate it 4 out of 5. That's it. So I have discussed about the ideology of the film, story, the significance, the genre of the film, what the director tried to communicate, his philosophy, lastly what I got out of the film, the context, the messages. So I hope this review somehow helps you. That was all from me. Take care.